Hey guys, this is Vol. Welcome to the first game of the New Zealand Masters Tournament. It is Empire against Lizardmen. I've drawn Mel Patel as my first opponent in the first round. Now, looking at this matchup, it's actually a pretty decent matchup for me, given the fact that he's not got a Slan at all. He's got two level 2s, Skink Priests. He's got a Old Blood Lord on Carnosaur, and I've got the two cannons, so the cannons should do well against him. The Lord himself's got a 4+ ward save, but if I can get a couple of cannon hits off him, I should do fairly well. Against his troops, the Skinks themselves are really annoying, especially the double unit of Pterodons, but elsewhere in the army I feel like I do have the tools to pull this off, so I was happy to get the first, that is the first draw. However, the actual mission is Dawn Raid, or whatever it's called, where you have the random deployment, so that always throws a spanner in the works for my army. Unfortunately, with Empire, you've got to keep everything within the leadership and BSB bubble, otherwise you suffer from leadership issues. Also, you really need to deploy in good places to tackle the opponent, because if you don't, your units can be easily picked off and destroyed quickly, because they're not very strong compared to the enemy's units. So that was going to be a real trick, real tough one for me. As you can see, the armies are deployed, and he's actually moved forward his Pterodons with Vanguard. He's got a Saurus in the middle, and I've got my War Altar there to fight him. But really, this deployment was much down to the dice, more so than our choices, to be honest. Next photo, you can see my wizard on my side of the table, and what really bugged me is that straight away, that like the first game of the tournament, first deployment, I made a serious mistake, and that was forgetting to put the wizard in with a unit when I rolled to see which part he deployed in. And of course I rolled a 1, meaning he had to be deployed on the left, and he couldn't deploy with the knights, who had also got a 1. So he was stuck on his own, and of course if Mal gets the first turn, it means the wizard being shot by Pterodon straight away. So I was really hitting myself for that. I mean, on the one hand, I was very unlucky to get a 1. Anything else and he'd have been fine. But I was also stupid just to make that mistake and forget to tell my opponent that I'm deploying the wizard along with this unit, and now I'm rolling for it. So that was very unfortunate. I'm sorry that I let my fans down here by just basically fucking up in the first game. But Mel moving out his Pterodons, and unfortunately Mel indeed rolling the first turn and taking it. Next photo shows you his awesome Carnosaur Lord actually cowering in fear behind the hill. And we say cowering because the cannons are deployed opposite, and he wanted to keep his Carnosaur alive, deny me the points. But I think we both knew that his plan was just to kill the cannons as soon as possible with spells and Pterodons, and then move them out and attack, which, to be honest, I would have done the same. Next photo shows you the rest of his army behind the building there with the Skink Priest and Salamanders, so he's got quite a few of those guys. Really, he's got to really put other things on the list to make it powerful. But of course, the real thing going for this list is a good list. It's a good tactical list, but it's got great comp score as well for the tournament purposes. Next image shows you me and colourful looking army. Quite happy with the photography here. The cannon on top of that little ruined building there, which we counted as hard cover basically. And the army kept close in the centre, and hopefully ready to dish out some tactical damage if the enemy comes close. The War Altar should be able to tie anything important up though. Next image, the Pterodons do indeed fly over to the wizard. I deployed him far enough back so he couldn't have rocks dropped on him, but unfortunately 2 of those javelins scored poisoned hits on him, so he was instantly killed without a chance to do anything, which is really demoralizing, I've got to say. I kind of felt like, man, I'm going to get trashed this first game. Hopefully I can come back later in the tournament. But the problem is with the Masters, when you lose the first game, you don't get an easier opponent. You just get one of the other, expert Warhammer players in the country. Unfortunate stuff. Next image, Pterodons in the centre moving behind that hardcover, and the Saurus Warrior is just moving straight ahead. Mel here knows that, if he gets one of them stuck with the War Altar, that's fine. The other unit can go on and do some serious damage to the rest of my troops, because, to be honest, I've got very little that can destroy those Saurus Warriors in combats, except the Flagellants and the Knights, which are further to the other side of the field, nearer to the Skink cohort, which can divert them, and of course the Carnosaur, which can leap out later on. Next photo shows you my following turn, moving the Pistoliers around to try and shoot at the Pterodons, and everything else moving back a little bit, just waiting to get some cannon shots off, and waiting for the Saurus Warriors to come nearer, in which case I'll countercharge with the Flagellants and War Altar and hopefully pick them off. And the Knights moving around the left. The Carnosaur hasn't appeared yet, so the Knights are safe to hopefully get into the flank of one of the Saurus, which should even things up a lot. Next image, the Carnosaur Lord has come out now, and I got to tell you the reason why is because in my first turn there was a Comet sitting in between my two cannons. That's right. In his turn one, after he'd killed my wizard, he'd brought down actually before he'd killed my wizard, he'd brought down a Comet with a double six. He just rolled 6 dice, went for the Mega Comet, the booster version, double six on it. Nothing I could do. A Comet straight away in between my two cannons. Rolled for it first turn. It came down, destroyed both cannons, which, I'm thinking, man, what more can go wrong? I mean, now he's got his Carnosaur out, and I've got nothing to shoot it with. And I was thinking, man, on paper, this is a great matchup. But just luck has not really been kind to me the first game. Wizard rolling a 1 for deployment, and cannons, unfortunately, blasted now, along with a whole bunch of my troops as well. War Altar is fine because it's got a 2+ ward save against spells, but man, things not looking good. The Knights now have to deal with the Carnosaur Lord. I've got a Warrior Priest with a Van Horseman Speculum, so that might last me a little while, but I've still got the Carnosaur itself to deal with. Next image, he's got some Pterodons which have fled through the ruins here right in front of his Saurus Warriors. So what'll happen is he'll probably rally them, move them out, and the Saurus Warriors will be in a position to have to receive a charge. On the right-hand side, I've got Skinks fighting against Crossbowmen. A bit of a tight combat there. It's been lasting a couple of rounds, but eventually the Skinks will probably get the better of me. Next image, what's happened here is that the Knights have I think charged some sort of target or failed some sort of panic test or something, and have ended up right next to where the Pterodon is. So the Carnosaur Lord is. I can't actually remember what happened in this this photo. Maybe they just marched past him, but whatever the case was, they are not really in a position where they can affect the battle very much. I'm liking the picture though. The color scheme in the Knights is starting to work. I've been doing a bit of painting on them, but there's still a lot of stuff to go there. Next image, the Skinks still fighting the Crossbowmen. Of course, the Skinks have initiative 4, so the Crossbowmen aren't doing too well against them, especially since they've got a rank there and a lot of attacks. But yeah, eventually he'll get me down here because every time he attacks, he gets a couple of wounds, and that reduces my strikebacks. Next image, the worst thing has happened here. The Knights have failed the panic check and have actually fled through the Carnosaur, almost off the board. And when they rally, they'll be behind the Carnosaur, but the Carnosaur will have turned around by then. So it's inevitably going to be a fight between the Knights and the Carnosaur Lord if they can rally. And I was unlucky enough to fail a panic check over there. So really things not going well in terms of dice. Next image, what's happened here is the Pistoliers have run in front of the Saurus block on the left, ready to divert them so that the Flagellants can make their attack. In the middle of the field, the Arc Lictor is attacking the Saurus Warriors and really just getting ready to hold them up for as long as possible. And in the meantime, the Swordsmen should be able to come in and attack as well. Next image, the Knights have indeed rallied, and the Carnosaur Lord is yet to turn around, but as you can see, there's going to be a fight, so that's what's going on in this photo, as I've already talked about. Next image, the fight continues between the Saurus Warriors and the Arc Lictor. He does muff the champion, but unfortunately the Saurus Warrior is just hacking away at him and constantly getting wounds on the War Altar every turn, despite the toughness, armor save, and ward save being there. There's just too many attacks for me to try and stop, so eventually the altar will go down unless I get some spells off to heal it. I'm not really sure if that Hand of Healing spell does actually affect the Arc Lictor and his War Altar, but it just says the model, so I'm not entirely sure. I know it says pick a champion or character, but wasn't always clear on it. Next image, unfortunately, my remaining block of swordsmen here are being shot at by flaming salamander shots and tons of poison javelins, so they are not going to last very long at all. Only the BSB with his 1+ rerollable save is really going to survive that, so hopefully I do get the points from in the end of the game. Next image, the Pterodons have actually flown in front of the Flagellants, and I've redirected the Saurus Warriors with the remaining Pistolier champion. So eventually there's going to be a fight, but in the meantime, I'm going to have to destroy these Pterodons, or he may flee and I may redirect into the Saurus Warriors. We'll find out soon. Next image, in fact, that's what happens. Later in the game, as you can see here, this is a combat involving the Flagellants and the Saurus Warriors and the Arc Lictor and the Saurus Warriors. For some reason, the Swordsmen on the left have failed a panic check and are running across the board rather than contributing to the fight. And the Carnosaur Lord is fighting against the Knights, which is an interesting one. Interestingly enough, the knights send forth the warrior priest to do battle with the Carnosaur Lord. I used the Van Horst Speculum, and I inflicted a whopping 4 wounds on the Carnosaur, realizing it had 1 left. And of course, the Old Blood with the warrior priest stats didn't actually manage to get a wound through, but the Carnosaur did, and I didn't even realize, but it causes D3 wounds, so I lost the warrior priest there, which meant that later on I lost the knight unit as well, which was a bitch. And in the center of the field, I managed to actually get the Lure of Light spell on the Waralter off on the Flagellants, giving them initiative 10 and weapon skill 10, which I've got to say made a huge difference, and they ripped through the Saurus warriors, luckily with that attack, and with the help of that spell just minced them and got me some points back, which was awesome. And the Waralter almost dead now, and the same with the Swordsman on the bottom right. Next photo, the Flagellants victorious, having mopped up their Saurus warriors, are pursuing down the field, but they'll need to turn around and help out the Waralter because that's the nearest thing. And if I can get the Flagellants into their flank or rear, that should really seal the deal. Next image, the swordsmen are down to just the command group, and soon to be just the BSB. So the BSB thinking of actually charging into the Saurus warriors here and trying to help out the Arc Lector. We'll see how that goes, though. Next image, what's happened is the Arc Lector has lost the Altar itself. He's standing by himself with no ward save, but the BSB is up there as well, keeping them both in combat until such a time that the Flagellants can arrive. And I haven't got a photo of it, but this is the final photo of the game. Flagellants do arrive, wipe out the Saurus warriors, and I'm left with a minor loss, which actually turned into more of a solid loss, given that my opponent had a better comm score than me. Very disappointed with this game. I had the opportunity to take it, but unfortunately due to events, me making a mistake, me having bad luck, it went the opposite way. Hope you guys enjoyed the report, though. I certainly enjoyed the game. A great opponent. I hadn't played him before. He's Wellingtonian, I believe, and some great photography. Really liking the lighting in the hall and the quality of the painting in the armies. See you guys soon.